like living.
I'm actually trying to paint my way out of prison.
Tony Papa is an artist and an inmate. He's in his 12th year at New York's notorious Sing Sing Correctional Facility for a drug offense.
I'm Charlene Hunter-Gauld, and you're watching Rights and Wrongs, the television magazine of human rights. This week, 3 different and distinct vantage points. First, the critics.
People simply don't understand what is going on, and they have been so convinced that this drug plague is threatening them that they are willing to permit the sacrifice of human rights.
Second, drug prisoners calling for reform.
I mean, look, I made a mistake when I was young. I needed a wake-up call, not to be thrown in a cage for 15 years. I am not the enemy.
And third, President Clinton's new drug czar, General Barry McCaffrey, and his take on human rights and drugs.
We got 1 million Americans in state and local prison. We got 100,000 in federal prisons. And so we do understand you can't arrest your way out of this problem.
Global Vision presents
758. Gallery going on the go back.
Anthony Papa is a perfect example of the way human rights violations are taking place in a massive scale in this country. He epitomizes the nonviolent first-time drug offender who gets whacked with a horrendous sentence because he or she doesn't have the wherewithal to deal their way out of it.
I bowled in a league in Yonkers, New York, where through an acquaintance, I met an individual who asked if I wanted to make a few dollars. And I said, how? And he said, well, all you have to do is deliver an envelope and I'll make $500. So I did it.
Was there any violence involved in this crime?
No violence involved. All I did was basically hand an envelope just like that to the undercover officer, and that was it. I got sentenced to 15 years to life for the sale of 4.5 ounces of cocaine. I mean, look, I made a mistake when I was young. I needed a wake-up call, not to be thrown in a cage for 15 years. I am not the enemy.
He's not a violent man. He's an educated man. He's a gentle man. He's an artist. And we've had him behind bars now for, what, 11 years? $30,000 a year. Look at the economic side of it. $30,000 a year to keep that man locked up.
Through all this rhetoric of crime and politics, people are forgetting one thing, that there's a human element involved. And the public is forgetting about that. And I'm that human element. I'm a human being that made a mistake.
Just in time for the good stuff.
See, he's very surrealistic.
Did he paint as a kid?
He played around.
He just, one day you walked in to visit him
That's
and he
it.
said, hey, Mom, I'm painting?
Yep.
Well, this is the shoelace, but he also used this joint. The veins in the hand are made from toilet paper. Blood's had to do this loose kind thing.
Yep.
15 years to life. This was painted in my cell one night when I realized that I'm going to have to spend the most productive years of my life in a cage.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I could not be here physically, but I'm here with you spiritually through my art.
People think this is a country club. It's not. Prison is a very, very terrible place.
When you walk away from this exhibit, I hope you bring with you new understanding of a prison experience.
Who are you?
My name is Anthony Papa.
Who were you?
I was a father, a businessman, and I got caught up in a sting operation in 1985. I was a first-time nonviolent offender who passed an envelope containing 4.5 ounces of cocaine and was sentenced to 15 years to life under the mandatory minimum sentencing in the Rockefeller
So you were a married man?
Yes.
You had kids?
I had kids.
How old were your kids in '85?
7 years old. I had a daughter. The point is, I went to prison. I acquired 3 college degrees, including a master's degree from New York Theological Seminary. I discovered my talent as an artist. I exhibited at the Whitney Museum from prison, the Outsider Gallery, where I have a show in April. The point is, I made a mistake when I was young, and I needed a wake-up call, not to be thrown in a cage for 15 years. It was a waste of human life, a waste of tax dollars, money that could be better spent on needy communities, to feed the homeless, to put shoes on shoeless children.
We have a couple of ex-cons on the stage, Frank and Anthony, who talked about while they were in jail doing their time in prison that they got educated, they rehabilitated themselves, they got degrees, they learned how to be back in society.
I have a question for Anthony. You stated you received, I believe, 3 degrees, and that was paid for by our tax-paying money?
Two what?
They were. I have a 19-year-old, and I'm paying through the nose. And, I mean, I could see you maybe getting a GED or something, but
well,
3
maybe
degrees...
you should send them to prison. Maybe they can get
well, that's what it is. You commit,
the whole point is
you commit a crime,
society,
and you commit a crime.
Society is caught up in this punitive system of
you
justice.
You commit a crime,
that
and you get rewarded.
Of the future of the incarcerated individual, the same individual that has to return
and
to
you
society.
Get rewarded,
okay?
and we pay for it twice.
I'm a better person now than I was 10 years ago.
Sure you are. You're going to make a lot of money by
I took advantage of fully rehabilitated myself in any way I could.
Mark, jump in here, please.
No, I congratulate you for turning your life around, but she's right. You know, in order to get a good education, good health care, you have to go to jail today, and that's wrong. What happened to the victims of the crime?
Yeah, and you know why these bad laws exist? Because of politicians like this that make bad laws, and they don't want to change them because they don't want to look soft, and all of a sudden, you have bad laws. That's right.
Is everything because of drugs? You mean it has nothing to do with education, lack of opportunity?
No.
It's all about drugs?
Absolutely. Excuse me. I see.
Really? All the problems are because of drugs?
No,
Chuck, let me answer that. The 59th district up there. How many prisons are in your district? 3, 4, 5 prisons? That's why the Rockefeller drug laws are working for you, because you keep these prisons filled with non-violent drug offenders.
Come on, Bob. We have to go to a break. I'll be right back, and we'll have a chance to respond. Be right back.